common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Joining us now is Michael Goodwin, the great Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the New York Post. First of all, Michael, your reaction. We've been with you every step of the way through this. Your reaction of this enormous, resounding win that President Trump has gotten.
It was a glorious day. I have to say, I had more sort of deep satisfaction today watching the fallout and just appreciating the significance of what he has accomplished. And, you know, Rita, as I wrote, I never thought he could do it. Now, you know, that goes back a couple of years to the down period after the January 6th riot and all that followed. But there was a period, I'd say a year and a half ago, where I thought that the Republicans could not win with Trump and they could not win without Trump.
So, by the way, Michael, I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, "Being wrong has never felt so good."
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's you know, when he won in 2016, I woke up the next morning. I'd written it, of course. I said to my wife, you know, I had this weird dream last night. I dreamt that Donald Trump won the election. And I felt something like that this morning, too. Is this real? I mean, because in the beginning, it just seemed like such a long shot. And yet, I have believed for some time it was the only good outcome that America could expect, that Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, you know, the culture wars, the New York Times, no thanks. We need an antidote. We need a correction. And that Donald Trump was able to come all the way back. I mean, you know, as I say in the column, I really do believe that the assassination attempt was a turning point. I think he is a different person. I think, you know, not all the time, but even watching him last night, you know, sort of the gracious way he introduced J.D. Vance, talked about his family, Melania's deceased mother. I mean, I think he has reached a new level of appreciation for the support he has, the country, its condition, and the necessity to bring major change. I'm very optimistic about what he will do. We don't know what the other side's going to do, you know, how ridiculous they're going to be, or are they going to be sensible and do their own autopsy on their party and see if they can't come to some middle ground so that the country can move forward in a more harmonious fashion. But I think Trump is raring to go.
You know, what did you make? You talked about sort of the introspection by the other side, and some have it, some do not. In the media, Michael Goodwin, New York Times calling Trump victory a grave threat to the Republic. And I was watching when the news broke, Michael, because we were here live, John and I, and Ed and the judge, we were live for so many hours last night as everything was unfolding. And then suddenly MSNBC makes the call hours later, CNN hours later,
right.
Both of them. And the people on air were having a meltdown saying essentially America's, you know, racist. They wouldn't pick. They're misogynist. They're everything in the book.
Yeah. Look, I think the media, frankly, that kind of media is a graver threat to democracy than Donald Trump could ever be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, they've just lost their minds. They've lost their bearings. They have no sense of responsibility. They are spewing hate and misinformation. They know all of this talk about him with an abortion ban, Project 2025. They know it's all a lie, just as Kamala Harris knew it was a lie, and Joe Biden before her. But that's the way they play politics. And there are no rules, and that's what the country is now up against. That, which is why it is so heartening and so uplifting about not just that he won, but that he won so decisively, and that the Republicans will have the Senate, so he will be able to form a cabinet. he will not need a single Democratic vote for any nomination confirmation. If the Supreme Court opens, I saw a push today for Sonia Sotomayor to resign so that Biden could presumably nominate someone. But they don't have 60 votes in the Senate, and if they're going to break the filibuster, okay, go ahead. But you're going to reap the whirlwind down the road if the filibuster goes away, because the Republicans are going to have control. So I just think that the Democrats really do need to reconsider, not because they hate Trump, but because the public rejected them so thoroughly. And that, if they don't reconsider, if they don't do some kind of introspection, autopsy, I mean, I think one thing they have to do is stop listening to Barack Obama. I mean, I think he's poison to their party. I think he doesn't know the country, doesn't like the country. And, having not to be elected himself, he's dropped the mask of temperance and friendliness. I think he's just a nasty, damaged person who wants to get even with America for some slight that he must have suffered some point in his life. But I think he is now a real poison for the party, and they ought to find some way to tune him out, because he's going to lead them further over the cliff, which is the last thing they need.
And he's just finishing his third term. This is an Obama term.
Well, look what happened. Look what happened with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump never knew what happened, what hit him. Obama put in 2,000 people of his people into different agencies and hid them in different agencies.
He made him civil service.
Yes,
he made him civil service.
Trump, the president, he had no clue. He thought he's walking into I'm the president, everybody's going to respect me. Well, they were there to kill him, not to respect him.
Yeah, they were undermining him at every turn.
And don't forget the CIA, the FBI, right? I mean, all of that. And do we think Obama had nothing to do with this lawfare?
So let's talk about Christopher Wray from the FBI. Is he loyal to Joe Biden and his crew? Is he loyal to Chris Christie for the past? Who is he loyal to?
Well, it should be loyal to the Constitution.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah, but there's nothing to indicate that. I mean, I think he is a major disappointment. I think Comey was corrupt. I would put Wray in the category of just a major disappointment. Now, I may be too generous. He may be corrupt, but it's not so obvious as it was.
Look what
Comey.
he did with Chris Christie.
Well, that's right. Yeah, no, that's right.
But and the people who don't remember on the not the Watergate, the Bridgegate.
Right.
Yes. Look, he defended him, right?
He defended him, but he also hid everything he was not supposed to hide.
But if you want to talk about, Michael, if you want to talk about real corruption, you have to talk about what happened to the Justice Department of the United States under Merrick Garland.
Yeah, he has been so political.
Disgrace.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to Obama, right? Remember Obama wanted him to go in the Supreme Court, thought he could squeeze that in before the election. Mitch McConnell had the guts to say no, and that seat was then left for President Trump to nominate.
It goes back to the previous Supreme Court. What was his name?
Who you're thinking of? Which one?
The one that died.
Scalia. Justice Scalia.
I still think Scalia was murdered. A lot of people.
There is that theory out there. You're not the only one who thinks that.
In other words, that pillow that was on top of his face was used to kill him.
Yeah, I've heard that discussed. I don't know. I have, to my knowledge, there's never been a serious investigation of that, John. But
there's never been a serious investigation of the President Obama's cook that died in 6 inches worth of water.
That's right. But I think the mere fact that we even discuss these things is evident of how little trust we all have in the government. And I think all of us in this conversation are from experience and a certain station in life that we are the ones who are expected to have that trust. And I did until the last couple of years. I mean, I believe the FBI is corrupt, and I believe it does political cases. The FBI, the CIA does.
With President Trump being president again, I think freedom of speech is back. That's why I can say things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Absolutely. And Elon Musk, I mean, what a hero in this fight.
Absolutely. And by the way, Trump has to clean house. To your point, he's got to find the good ones and the bad ones.
And he's got to find those 51 intelligence guys
The
who said
so-called.
about the laptop.
Those guys. Yeah, where are they?
We'll change the name to 51 Dummies.
Oh, my goodness. Michael, thank you. And I'm glad you were, that being wrong never felt so good for you.
Your cardiologist knows your heart, and your mom knows how to mend your heart. Your ophthalmologist helps you see, and your best friend makes you feel seen. A visit to your physical therapist can heal your shoulder, and a visit to your grandma can heal your soul. Your health is a journey you don't take alone. Just like the people around you, all of us at Kaiser Permanente work together to help care for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.